A couple of dudes just chugging and talking shit. You never know who's about to explode on this week's episode of Human
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Human Landmines. It's a show where Steven and I get together and we talk about current events, porn, and we chug a lot of beer.
Yep. It's March 19th, and we'd like to open up the show with an apology. We were hammered at the end of the show last week, as can happen, and we told everyone that we, along with you, should watch Soul Plane. It turns out neither of us watched Soul Plane, so if you watched it, you can tell us how it went, because we have no fucking idea.
Send an email to humanlandmines@gmail.com with your review of Soul Plane.
And I'll start telling people I watched it, and based off your review, I'll say that that's my opinion of the show for the rest of my life.
It's basically what a copywriter does.
There you go.
Just read something else and say you made it up.
We'd like
it's
to
Boomer Dog's birthday.
Hey, Boom Dog.
Can you see him? He's like having a good time. There he is.
Yeah, he's like a black blob.
Little blob dog. He doesn't even know.
We'd like to open the show on a similar level and show you this clip of somebody's wiener on the news.
Yeah, this happened.
Oh shit! I full screened. Oh, that's probably good.
You know, we've never played a video on Human.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Paul, you probably won't be able to hear it.
That's okay. I can just imagine the wiener.
All right.
Up next to the Space Needle there, that iconic image in Seattle. Man, so that's Edward Scissorhands, so we'll just ignore that. And so, you know, a lot of people obviously...
There it was. I imagined it right then.
So, yeah, what you just saw was a blurred out version with a smiley face over the head of the wiener. But on a local news station, for some reason they threw it to this guy's iPad who was gonna show people. I guess what was he showing? Paul, pictures of the plane is what he was supposed to be showing.
I think it was a deadly helicopter crash.
Oh, okay.
So now, if I was him, I'd see Edward Scissorhands, and I'd be like, oh shit, my Google search ran out of the helicopter pictures. Now I'm getting some weird shit. I should probably just stop before something dumber than a quintessential Johnny Depp role pops up on my Google search.
It goes helicopter crash, Edward Scissorhands, burrito, and then a dude's wiener, and he just rolls. And like nobody switched back. The producer also did not switch back off of his iPad onto like a shot of them when they got to Edward Scissorhands or burrito. So it's not just that guy's fault.
No, like you see the two chicks staring at the monitors like it's the first dick they ever seen in their lives.
Yeah.
And the dude on the far left is like, ooh.
Yeah.
Want to see one of those all day.
It's obviously as low budget of production as this show.
Yeah, but
because they don't know what to do.
Well, we never accidentally show you our dicks. If we ever show you our dicks on Human Landmines, it is completely intentional.
Yeah. Everything you see on this show is intentional. I'm just playing it again now, Paul, so everyone can kind of focus.
Yeah, if you missed the dick, it's the thing with the smiley face head on it.
And then everyone's reaction.
Boom.
Oh, Jesus. Awesome.
Okay, so here's something that kind of really burns my ass. Now, why is it... Okay, this is like a catastrophic news story. It's like, oh my God, we showed a dick on the news.
Yeah.
But the news has no issues like showing somebody's blown up leg or like talking about a rapist for like 2 hours while it's like, the verdict comes out and like, this rapist just raped everybody and he beat them up and raped them. And then some other guy's like, yeah, thanks, Jim. Now, I'm just here to tell you the rapist beat the shit out of people and raped them. And they'll just badgering like violence, but the moment like some dude's ding dong shows up, it's mass chaos in the media.
Yep. And first of all, half of people have wieners, so
Yeah.
it's already not a big deal, in that sense. Yeah, man, it's real fucked up. Like even like going away from the news, the most popular show, or one of the most popular shows right now is Walking Dead, right? Where like people just get their heads chopped off and stabbed in the brains and like
Yeah.
I don't know. Spoiler alert. I guess like there's like the last week's episode. Yeah, spoiler alert. Had like a little girl killing another little girl, like humans, not zombie versions. Like it was like a 12-year-old killing an 8-year-old. They didn't show it, but they showed blood all over the knife, and she's talking about killing her.
Yeah, and so and I'm sure that everybody's totally cool with that being on the television if they're like, the scenes depicted in this next show are of a graphic nature. The imagery is violent. Viewer discretion is advised.
Totally. It's
But
like, everybody watched that shit.
If there's like a sitcom like Friends,
Yeah.
or whatever, and like Joey gets locked out of his apartment naked and the neighbor sees his dong, that's not really offensive. It's kind of like funny. And I think that they should be able to like show chicks' boobies or butts or dudes' dongs. Butts are getting to be more socially acceptable on TV, but just by saying something like, we're gonna show you a man's limp penis. Viewer discretion is advised.
Yep. Yeah.
That should be like, that should be enough, because if you're like, oh, I don't want to see no nudity today, you get up and leave. Just like if you're like, oh man, violence totally makes me queasy. I don't want to see these violent imagery. They told me, but that's what's up. I'll leave.
Yep.
Or change the channel even. You don't
By the
gotta
way,
watch anything.
I just pulled it up, and I guess this is for 2 episodes ago, but Walking Dead was literally the #1 show viewed on cable. So everybody who watches TV is cool with seeing people get stabbed in the head and throat and little girls killing each other, apparently. But we had to freak out if we showed 2 seconds of a dick.
Yeah. If that was my dick, I would be stoked, and I'd tell all my friends.
That guy's got a famous dick now.
Yeah. Tweet yourself, bro. Tweet that it was yours. If you saw it, you know.
I might start claiming it.
I don't want to be the Fox News dick guy. I want to do something cooler than that, but some people won't.
No, you're right. Why do you think that it is that, like, I have a feeling that you couldn't always show people getting stabbed in the head on TV, but that hasn't, but now we can, but we still can't show tits. Why do you think society went that way?
I think that, because they could show, like, sex in Europe on commercials and stuff or on any TV.
Right.
Like, much more they could show here. So we were based as a puritanical society, basically. Like, we wanted freedom of religion, but we were, like, all pretty, like, yo, she showed me her ankle. She's a witch. And so, we started out like that. And then I think the other thing is that we're all a bunch of narcissistic megalomaniacs, and we love violence now.
Right.
Like, since like, it was cool to win a war. Like, war should be cool. It sucks you have to go to war. And I have, like, respect for everybody who fights for and protects our great country. But it's like, I don't know, somewhere along the 19th, even though for fucking ever, it was, like, cool to win a war. So it's, like, cool to get more violent.
Right.
But, I mean, since forever it's been cool to, like, look at a chick's boobs.
Yeah, but for some reason it's... Yeah, it's gotta
We
be
gotta
in the
be...
name
Well,
of...
maybe if you were married... Maybe if it was, like, your wife's boobs. In America, like, it's a big thing, like, sex out of wedlock. So,
No, you're right. It seems like if you...
maybe America would be cool if you had to be, like, married to show your boobs.
Well, no, like, always, like, sexual shit, like, brothels and, like, all that stuff has always been shrouded in, like, something you do in the middle of the night. Even in the even in the early ages of the United States, it's like people could have a mistress, but it like wasn't something you talked about. Whereas like capping a motherfucker in the head is always something that everybody's talked about, like your war victories and like.
Yeah, that's much more intelligent than my idea.
No, I'm just saying what you're saying in a different way.
Yeah. No, that was worded better. And I guess also like violence was something you had to talk about back in the day to like warn each other. Like you had to. There was like somebody killing people's cows even.
Yeah.
You had to go over to your neighbors and be like, yo, some motherfucker's coming into my farm in the middle of the night and butchering 2 of my cows each night. Watch out. Like, I'm sitting out there with a shotgun all night, and the guy's like, holy shit, man, 3 of my cows got their heads chopped off last night. Let's fuck this motherfucker up. But you're not going to go over there and be like, hey, I fucked my wife. All right, see you, Bob. Like, it's kind of like it was a private thing in the sanctity of a relationship. And, it's more openly discussed now, but it does not have that sort of historical, historical history.
Yeah. No, yeah, and to build on that, yeah, there's obviously like practical reasons to discuss violence. Like let's just go with your like story still. It's like one farmhouse and another, and he's got to go tell this guy that like someone's slaughtering the cows. But he can say that in front of farmer Daniel and his whole family. Like they can all be sitting around and he can be like, hey guys, there's somebody killing cows, watch out for that. But if there was a cool new brothel, he's got to just tell farmer Daniel like alone.
Yeah.
So I think
watch out for the cow murderer.
Maybe that's
Daniel,
it.
Can I talk to you about the barter churn?
There's like
a
privacy thing with sex built into the way we talk about it with each other anyways. So maybe violence has always been public and sex is a little more private. But it's still fucking retarded when you think about how many people watch porn, like we talked about either last week or the week before.
Yeah, or how many people have sex in general.
Which is everyone.
There's
More people have sex than stab people in the brain.
Yeah, way more. We should be able to look at chicks' boobs on the news, dudes' dongs, upside down stand-up 69, cock and ball torture, all on the news.
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure
This next segment has a lady with high heels on stepping on a dude's nads. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm pretty sure you can't have sex in your front yard in this country.
No.
Because somebody might see it.
Yeah, you're being indecent.
That's crazy. It's your own property and you're doing something that the only reason we exist is because other people had sex.
Yeah, but there has to be some rules so Old Man Johnson's not mowing his lawn and whacking off at the same time.
Yeah, I guess. You say there has to be a rule.
Well, I mean, I guess you could take those rules away, but it would get a lot, a lot weirder and probably like an unpleasant way, because just like the way humans don't have sex with everybody they meet, maybe you don't want to know everybody you meet sexually, even if it's from like afar, like a completely observatory standpoint. Maybe you just don't want to know about people.
Right, and that gets to like if old man whoever is whacking off in his yard, like what should the punishment be? I'm like an anarchist, so I think that we have to have like some really natural punishment rather than like
he shouldn't be allowed
jail.
Maybe he shouldn't be allowed to take off like a pair of wet jeans for like a year. It'd be really hard for him to get in there.
Right. Well, I think it should just be like, I'm super in favor of ostracization. You know that, like just like
kicking somebody out of society for a while.
Yeah, or like it should be like, okay, so we saw old man Johnny beating off in his yard, and he did it even though like this little 7-year-old was walking by, and she's pretty upset by it.
And this is like the 3rd time we told him,
so we
whack off in the shed before you take the lawnmower out.
Yeah, I think what you do is everybody on that street And like you tell the local businesses around, like don't fucking let him in. Like he's not allowed to come in for a while. So like then Farmer John goes to buy groceries, and the guy's like, nope, you fucked up, dude. So he's gotta like I think that would.
What
teach
are you
him.
going to jack off in my grocery store? Get out of here.
Yeah, like what? Then he can't get basic goods for like a month. He's gonna suffer. He's gonna have to go like kill a squirrel, like
Or he
like
might
go
have
to
to go to like the next town over.
Yeah, maybe he would just go to the next town over and masturbate all over again. But I mean, it's a decent.
You'd have a bunch of nomadic public masturbators in this country, Steven.
Well, that's where
Traversing the landscape, whacking everywhere.
That's where digital. That's where like technology has to come in, and he's got to get some kind of digital stamp on his cell phone, like where it beeps off when he gets to a new town, like, and everyone can read about what he did in the town before, and they're like, hey, and they just immediately ostracize him too, so that he's like forced to change, and nobody gets hurt, and nobody gets locked in a cage. That's my solution.
But like you're saying, your GPS hits his GPS when he's like within 5 miles of you, and it's like, old man Johnny just came into your radius.
Yeah.
And he was a public whacker in front of a 7-year-old little girl, and you're like, well, fuck that guy. But what if you meet him and he's like, oh yeah, I was the town's public masturbating fella 10 years ago, and ever since then I turned to the Lord, and now I make free hot dogs for the homeless. Like, you could be like, oh, well, maybe old man Johnny's not so bad. It's like, we should call it You Judge.
Yeah. That's the app. It's You Judge. Well,
it's
see,
like the moral Tinder.
The problem is
like
that book, The Scarlet Letter, right? Like,
yeah.
A lot of shit was fucked up. It's basically a digital Scarlet Letter. Like
the moral Tinder, left swipe their morality, or right swipe their morality.
Yeah. And I guess, there's potential for abuse in everything. Like, what if that guy, I don't know, what if that guy was a really good gambler and he had come to town and fucking beat everybody, all the local townsfolk in Texas Hold'em, and like convinced them all he was like really smart at stealing their money, and he got like all this money from the town, and they're like, fuck that, we're not gonna slap him with the You Judge stamp of good gambler. We're gonna pretend he was a public masturbator, and like so that he gets shunned in the next town.
Well, you're saying like the police sheriff is like crooked, or
Yeah,
at least he's really
upset.
mad, and he uses his power to be like, oh yeah, Johnny got arrested at an illegal poker game.
Yep.
And he won everybody's money, and everybody in town knows he smoked us.
Yep.
But I'm just gonna accidentally type in cow fucker.
Right. Well, see, I guess that's still right. That's still better than like sending him to jail for 10 years, right?
Well, I'm sure like the townsfolk would bring a cow down Main Street and be like, "Get out here, old man Johnny."
I like
you
how
cow
man, you were still
fucker."
talking about him as their townsfolk, but we're totally talking about like modern digital society.
Well,
It's all
I
like
think-
cow fuckers and like country bumpkins.
No, I think that you have like even still now, if you live in a small town or a city, like you have a little community around wherever you live, and it might not be within like, square mileage area around your house, but it's like on your way to work and on your way to go to the spots you typically go to. Like the people you see at that corner store that you only go to when you're on the way to work.
Right.
Or the people that you see when you're at work but you don't typically see elsewhere. Or the regulars at your bar. Like, you have a community of people you hang out with, including your neighbors. Like,
Right.
You don't even hang out with them, but you see them every day.
Which is more similar to like the society we're sort of referencing, like an old school little town. We all sort of have those little towns within our big towns now. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, and everybody has their own personal community, and you might be part of a few different ones,
Right.
depending on what you do. But so like, if you're walking to work, it's not like where your friends are. You're just on your way from your house to work.
Yeah.
And somebody pulls out a knife. Like back in the day, you'd want the community to like defend. Like people come out their doors and be like, "Listen here, mugger. This is our neighborhood, and nobody hold knives on young Steven in this neighborhood."
Right.
But that won't happen. Like most people, they see like a girl get her purse snatched and the dude running towards them, they'll like kind of cower and get out of his way.
For sure. That's what we've been taught to do, man. Like, I feel like we've sort of been taught that the police are there to protect us, so we shouldn't do it ourselves anymore. A lot of people, what was I reading? Oh, it was the same book I talked about last week or the week before, that Steven Pinker book about violence. He was talking about how, like, in African American communities, they still have like a stronger sense of community where they don't expect the police to protect them, so they will still do that. Like, if some outsider comes in and like tries to mug someone, they'll take it into their own hands and beat that guy's ass, like, which helped because maybe the police wouldn't come, but it sucks because we're supposed to let the police help now. So when you go beat that guy's ass, you get in trouble. Which fucking sucks, because they were providing a service that like communities are supposed to provide, but it's illegal now.
Well, and like, it's always, I live in like a medical university sort of district,
right,
in Charleston, because it's cheaper. I don't know, maybe the landlords are having a little bit of mercy on the med students for having a ton of loans.
Yeah.
So dirtballs like me move in, take the med student spots. But I've lived in bad areas in here in New York, and like I lived in some like really rundown areas of Charleston when I first moved down here 10 years ago.
Sure.
And when I was living in a neighborhood that was like predominantly black people, they'd always be real nice, and you'd say hi to them, they'd say hi to you, and you'd get to know who they were, people at your corner store and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's kind of this, don't call the cops if anything's going on outside, we'll take care of it sort of attitude.
Yeah.
And that's kind of badass. Like,
yeah.
White people are afraid of that.
Yeah. And in a lot of ways it's better, and you can obviously see how it could be worse too. Somebody overreacting, like somebody picks your
That's
pocket and you fucking kill them, like. That's why there's a justice system, because it's hard to, like, on the fly decide the appropriate response to a crime.
What was the Dunbar dude talking about how society's fucked up because there's too many people?
Right. It's called the Dunbar number. He's a social anthropologist, and
from Great Britain.
Yeah, he said he did all these studies and kind of came up with that the natural size of a community is 150 people, because we can't hold more like relationships individually in our head than that at a time. Like, you meet all these people in your life, you kind of lose touch with some as you meet others. Like, 150 is like the size of like people you can have personal relationships with at a time. So he thinks that like somewhere in there, close to that, is the natural number for community, because if you have a personal relationship with everybody in your community, why would you hurt them? And like everyone's basically a friend group, so like they're gonna come together and find solutions to problems. But instead we have these gigantic cities, especially me, I'm in New York, and you literally, part of New York is you just walk past people, you don't make eye contact, you don't talk to people, you don't fucking know them, you're never gonna see them again. It's so impersonal that I think that's why if somebody grabbed that lady's purse and ran away, most people aren't gonna save her. They're gonna get out of the way and hope they don't get killed, because they don't have a relationship with her. She's not in their like Dunbar community. Like, whereas if that was my friend, I'm much more likely to help out and like care.
Yeah, and I guess even as far back, like even our parents' generation, especially our grandparents' generation, and I know there's more people now, but there are more people not living in cities than living in cities, and I believe that number's starting to switch.
I think cities are still growing. Is that what you're saying, or?
I heard somewhere, and this could totally be wrong, because sometimes I don't listen very well. But I heard somewhere that there are more people in America living in cities now than not living in
I think you're right. I've seen that too.
Okay, cool.
I'll Google check it. That's why we have the internet for this show.
Yeah. But, so, back in the day, if if you meet somebody's grandparents, like now,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, we're from Georgetown. You're like, oh, yeah, my dad's brother lives in Georgetown. They'll be like, what's his last name? Oh, Thompson? Yeah, he runs the old
Yeah.
sugar mill. Like,
Yeah.
they knew everybody in town, or at least, oh, that's Thompson's granddaughter's nephew. Like, they knew them through, like, the 6 degrees of separation
Right,
or whatever. That's Bill's step-aunt's niece's twin
right.
brother's, slam piece.
Right. We got some Pavliches in this part of town, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reginald Pavlich, Beauregard Pavlich.
Yeah, not to glorify that was like a better time, because it wasn't, but like there's a certain aspect of the community that I think might have been better.
Yeah, like if I tell people I was born in Youngstown, Ohio, and they like know Youngstown really well, they're like, oh, Peter Squancy? And I'm like, no, I haven't lived there in almost 20 years. I don't really know anybody. Oh, Ned Jernigan? And you're like, no, I don't know anybody. I haven't been there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, that's like one of the most annoying fucking conversations to have. So it couldn't have been better back then. Maybe when that was all you knew, that was like a fun word game.
Dude, Paul, this website I'm on says 80% of people live in urban areas and 20% live in rural areas. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, man.
I wonder if they're defining urban a little more. Yeah, they say there's 3,600 urban towns, which probably that's a lot. So that would be why the number is that skewed, but definitely more people live in cities.
I wonder towns, like, what makes a city? Like 100,000 people?
Oh, here we go. Urban areas include over 50,000 populations.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
That makes Twin Peaks an urban area.
There are 50,000 people there?
Yeah, they wanted it to be small. I think it's like 54,000
Nice.
something.
Yeah, so that includes some pretty small cities, but yeah, most people live in
Charleston's
cities.
How big do you think Charleston is?
Way more than that. Yeah.
Guess. Just downtown.
Oh, just downtown? Oh, see, I don't know. What is it?
120,000 people?
Nice. Yeah. Charleston's obviously a city by this definition.
Yeah, but Mount Pleasant is a city.
Yeah.
And North Charleston is a city too.
Yeah, even where I grew up, Greenville, North Carolina, had a shade over 50,000. So,
That's a city.
It's a town. I had a downtown, I guess. But
well, I wonder if that's just the same exact statistic as college town.
Right.
Urban area can be defined as college town.
I don't think Clemson makes a cut.
Clemson's probably like way bigger in square mileage than we realize, though.
Maybe. I think they have like 20,000 people. That's Hickville, Paul. They'll ask you about your last name out there.
Yeah,
I knew some Rileys out in Anderson.
Yeah. Bill Riley, Riley Kiley. Is that them?
Anyways, I don't know what the so the Dunbar number works really good, like when we were in tribal societies, like right at the beginning of civilization, when that was probably actually happening, when we're like herding some animals and planting some shit and hunting and gathering and fucking. But I don't know how it's even possible to. How do we make the Dunbar number work in our lives in cities? I don't know.
Well, I guess you shouldn't try to spread yourself too socially thin.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of people do that.
But at the same time, like, when I lived in New York, people make weird faces at me when I make eye contact with them too in public.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of like just eyeing everybody down to see who's like gonna try to like butt rape me in an alley and make me smoke crystal meth with them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of look crazier than them. So maybe you should just try, like, you should pick your Dunbar group.
Yeah.
And then you should just try to look completely crazy to everybody outside your Dunbar group. in the rest of the
I think
city.
it would be super hard to define the
Like,
150 people you know best. We all have bullshit like 1,000 Facebook friends now, which
well,
proves how
and-
dumb that is.
and some of the people that are most crucial to your life are not your best friends at all.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the guy who checks you out at the grocery store every day.
Right, or like your doctor who you see like once a year maybe.
Yeah, but like you need them in the group.
Yeah. Think about how great it would be if like your doctor and like the people who grew your food and like
Well-
the like cops or whatever, whoever protected your community, were all like you're in your cool group of friends. Like that'd be amazing. Everybody had
So-
their little roles.
You know how you always hear guys like, or and girls say this too, I'm sure, like, oh yeah, you can make a boat, you're in my zombie apocalypse survival group. Or, oh shit, dude, you had sex with that fine girl, you're definitely gonna be in my entourage when I get famous. Like, I think we should start real life being like, Creighton, I can drink with you and you're a dentist. You're definitely in my Dunbar clique.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna like. Yeah, I think I just need to start befriending like some people who grow food and like doctors and dentists and like just start hanging out with them. Act like I don't have ulterior motives.
Yeah, I want my Dunbar group to be good at stuff besides drinking. But they have to be good at drinking though.
At this point in the show, Paul and Stephen were disconnected from the internet. Oh, now they're back.
Nice.
And we're back. We had some technical internet difficulties.
Yeah, it's our first time, which is kind of shocking because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah, but you never forget your first time. I believe before the internet cut us off, and maybe that's like a telltale sign of where the show is going, that the internet's telling us to stop. But we were talking about how Steven was gonna start like friend stalking people to try to get them to be his friend who have like really usable skills in the world, just so they would then fall into his Dunbar group in society. So if you ever needed like a doctor, he could be like, yo, Bill, get your ass over here. I need a doctor stat. And Bill would be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I put a lot of value in you, Steven. You're in my Dunbar group.
Exactly.
But the thing is I want my Dunbar group to be able to like drink with each other.
Totally.
But they have to be able to do other things good besides just be able to like drink really well.
Right.
You know, I don't want my Dunbar group to be a bunch of wasted people, but I don't want it to be a bunch of like uptight, really skilled people, and I'm like the drunkest, loudest, and most annoying guy in the Dunbar group.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got 150 slots, right? So it should be fine.
Yeah, at least you know, at the very least, you should fall into the middle of the most annoying, drunkest guy, but you shouldn't be
That's your hope.
like the least drunkest, and you shouldn't be the most drunk.
Yeah. I feel like I'm you know, like I just thinking about this while we were having technical difficulties, like I already have those people, and you probably do too, that are in your friend group who have these jobs that you can take advantage of. Like I know people, not take advantage of, but take advantage of the fact that your friendship gives you more than just friendship. Like I know people that can get me into concerts at like almost any venue in New York, and I know bartenders I can like drink for free somewhere, which seems cool until you realize maybe I could be friends with like a fucking real estate agent or a doctor. That'd be way cooler.
Like, no, the people I know, it's like the Budweiser rep, come drink cran burritos for free from 10 until close.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, that's like the bonus in my day's level.
Yeah.
You just got like the bonus star.
Yeah.
Because the cran burrito lady called you.
I all of a sudden feel like that's way less cool than it used to be.
Yeah, I do too, because, like, I can definitely get drunk fine on my own if nobody's helping me. And
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go to every concert.
Yeah, right. That's
I
funny.
guess, like, I know people, like, at a brewery, so I can get, like, free beer.
Yeah.
And
We're,
then, like, I know the rickshaw guys, so I get, like, free rides. That's pretty useful.
yeah, that's somewhat practical.
But you don't want to, like, do that all the time, or else you're like oh no, he's coming. Who's got to take him this time?
I know somebody that has a membership at Sam's Club, so I can buy things in bulk.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I know Creighton, and he's a dentist.
Yeah, that's super useful if he would do
Yeah.
your fucking teeth for free, which I bet he won't.
No, I mean, but, like, I don't know, who would you rather know? Like, a jeweler, so he can get you half off jewelry? Now, this brings me to a point of, like, legitimate jobs. I wanted to talk to you about this the other day because I'm walking through the Charleston Place Hotel, and there's like I believe it's like a Godiva store, but it's like chocolatier
Sure.
or chocolatier, whatever they're called who makes chocolate.
Yeah.
I like chocolatier because it sounds like musketeer. The three chocolatiers. It's like Willy Wonka and his two superhero bro team.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if anybody in America is like a chocolatier, and there's a lot of jobs that people treat like this, but this is just a funny one because this is a chocolate maker. People can be like, oh yeah, so what's your son doing? And I'm like, well, he's the best candy man in the world. It's one of those jobs that, like, yeah, my son's the best plumber in the tri-state area. Like,
yeah.
but those are still legit jobs.
Yeah.
But people like now plumber and chocolate maker are not the same thing.
No.
But I feel like they kind of yield. Like, people are like, oh yeah, that candy making motherfucker. People like don't treat him like he's doing a real job.
So
but
what,
he totally
do you think he is or he isn't?
Somebody's got to make chocolate. Now, I guess chocolate can be made in a factory, mass-produced, but
There's a market for it, I
I
guess.
don't even really eat a lot of chocolate at all. I'm not a sweets guy. I want savory and salty cured meats.
I mean, I think
But I'm not
think
gonna talk shit on the guy.
chocolatier. I got more respect for the chocolatier than I do like fucking people who are cogs in like corporate cubicle machines. That was really good alliteration on my part. I need to remember that. But yeah.
Well, we recorded it, so
People who are
you don't have
cogs
to remember it
and
at
corporate
all.
cubicle machines. Paul, there's a person that we both know that I don't care to say their name, but like I'm certain that she does not have any idea what she actually does at her job every day. And she's a cubicle person, and she makes a lot of money because she works for a big corporation. I'm pretty sure she has no discernible skills, and she just got a job like, like think about, it's kind of like data entry meets email answering, where you have no fucking idea even where you fit, but like you're just like doing a function. You're like a robot, but they haven't figured out robots to do it yet.
Yeah, you're like the utility man. You're like the person that they use for everything that they haven't even thought of you to do yet, but they can tell you to do it because you have no real job description.
Yeah, you're like.
Is that what you're talking about?
You're like an accounts specialist or something. You give you one of those corporate titles, where you don't. It's like you have no idea. Maybe you pretend to have an idea where you fit into the machine, but like, you don't fucking know what you're doing. You know what your job is because you got to go to work and do spreadsheets for 3 hours and like emails for 2 hours and eat lunch. But like, I don't know. That's less of a real job to me.
But if somebody asks them a question they don't know, they'll just tell that person to ask their coworker, not their superior, but like somebody who has the same like title as them.
Yeah.
And then that's like why sometimes you have to talk to 5 people on the fucking phone. when you're like on the phone with the electric company or something, you
Yeah.
have to go through like 5 people because they're like, well, I don't know if we can give you credit. Let me put you through to Jimmy. And Jimmy has like the exact same abilities to like do the same stuff in the computer as the last guy, but he's like, I see why you're upset, Mr. Pavlich.
Oh God.
Pavlich from Georgetown? Yeah, my Uncle Bill owns a sugar mill.
God.
But yeah, like you'll get passed around on the phone because nobody really wants to help you.
God, yeah, and like they have a script. Those people you just like reminded me of like calling cable companies and shit. They have like a script, and like they can't do anything, but they pass you around. That's a fake job. I like the chocolatier.
Dude, I'm gonna go into I can't wait to like walk into the chocolatiers spot when there's like a bunch of like nice like older ladies and some little kids in there buying chocolate. And I'm just going to go up to him and be like, fuck capitalism! Fuck the corporation! Fuck the man! You're doing your shit, bitch! My man!
Hell yeah. If I was a chocolatier, I'd like wear silly hats and bow ties and like...
I'd dress like a gutter punk.
I'd adopt some kind of accent. Like, hello, I'm a chocolatier. Welcome.
You dress like Willy Wonka and I'd dress like fucking Sid Vicious.
Yeah, I guess
I'd
I'm
be
getting
like,
to Willy
fuck
Wonka.
the government! I don't need corporations! I make chocolate, bitch!
Yeah, that guy's a hero. Oh, Christ. All right, is this it? Are we done?
Yeah.
Are we, we've reached chocolatiers that dress like Sid Vicious, so that's usually a sign.
At least they're not whacking off mowing the lawn.
Yep. That's
Well,
you can always say that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a last like chug cuz I have a lot of this beer left and I feel like it's weirder if I drink it after the show when I'm by myself in my apartment.
I want to have like one more, so I'm going to just chug both of them.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, today I enjoyed some absinthe at the beginning of the show.
Is that like the American shit or the shit with the hallucinogenics?
I don't think any of it. It's got that wormwood, son. You told me that has hallucinogenics.
I don't know. That's what some like kid told me at a
I think
concert
it's bullshit.
festival.
I think it's all bullshit. Just liquor. Just gets you drunk. Thanks for tuning in. We are not good at keeping up a website. We did not even post our most recent show on it. But luckily, we directly shared the video link online, so hopefully our website doesn't get any traffic. And then no one noticed that. But you
We're
can
gonna
check us
show
out.
you a wiener on it this week with a smiley face over the dickhead. So hopefully it'll get some traffic for that.
It's just gonna be all our wieners with smiley faces this week. So go to humanlandmines.com. We do the audio version up on SoundCloud. The video version's on YouTube.
And if you can guess whose wiener's who's on the website, we'll give you a free T-shirt.
We're trying to interview strippers, porn stars, meth
Politicians.
addicts, and astronauts. So,
Politicians, musicians, contortionists, dog walkers.
lip readers, drug runners, and
Court jesters.
whoever invented the
Court
slip and
jesters.
slide.
Yeah, if we can get a free slip and slide, that'd be dope.
We promise you that at some point this will turn into more than just Paul and I talking to each other, and we'll have guests. That's coming soon. So tune in next week to Human Landmines.
Peace.
Peace, bitches.